This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. I sure enjoy being here helping you with playing the guitar. This is lesson 32 in this mini course that's all about basic chords and strumming. In the first several lessons, I went through the basic chords that we use to play really thousands and thousands of songs, strumming patterns for 3/4 time, 4/4 time, 6/8 time, 12/8 time, 9/8 time, and so on that work for the different types of songs that we play. We also got into bar chords and power chords. In these last few lessons of this mini course, I'm going over different types of chords that we occasionally run into. In the last lesson, in lesson 31, I went over augmented chords. In this lesson, I'm going to go over diminished chords. So, augmented chords are like a major chord where we take the fifth of that chord and we sharp it. Diminished chords are like a minor chord where we take the fifth of that chord and we flat it. Now, if you want to know more about theory and more about chords, you can check out the books in the Method Book series and the videos that come with them. There's also quick answer videos and other videos in the Academy that can help you get more information on theory and playing the various types of chords that are just introduced a little bit here. That is if you want more information. So we're going to go ahead and dive in with D. D diminished. So if you think of playing a D minor chord, we'd have index, middle, and ring. And I mentioned that the fifth of the chord, and that's coming from the scale, and we use root, third, and fifth from the scale to make a major chord or a minor chord, and then we've got different types, whether it's a major third or a minor third. Now we've got augmented fifth, or diminished fifth, or just a regular old perfect fifth. So we take that fifth, in a minor chord it would be a perfect fifth, now it's flatted by 1 fret, and we get diminished instead of minor. You gotta play D minor to that diminished. You can also look at it as your D major, where we flatted both the third and the fifth. In the chord progression that we're going to practice this with, we're going to go back and forth between D and D diminished. So I like to finger this. Index finger, first fret, third string. Middle finger, first fret, top string. Pinky up here on that third fret of the second string. Now you could also bar it if you wanted to, that would work too. We're going to use down, down, up, down, up, down, up with our strumming pattern as we practice this, because that's an old familiar for 4/4 time. Let's practice just going back and forth between D and D diminished to the diminished. So you got the D to D diminished to D diminished to D diminished. That's what we'll do here now with this chord progression. Each one of these chords will get one measure. We'll go D, D diminished, D, D diminished, D. Then in the same measure we'll go G to A7. So the G will get the first half of the strumming pattern, A7 will get the second half. And then we'll have a D to D diminished in one measure, and then we'll end on D. So you got 1, 2, ready, we got the D to D diminished, to D diminished, to D, to G, A7, D, D diminished, and D. Let's do it again. So we got D to D diminished, to D diminished, to D, G, A7, D diminished, and D. Okay, now that's just diminished root, flat 3, flat 5. It's actually a little bit easier to play a fully diminished 7th chord. The chord symbol for fully diminished 7th chord has that diminished sign, so the little circle there, and then the number 7. You might also see D-I-M. Sometimes that's used with a period, so D-D-I-M instead of sort of the superscript little O up there on top. But this means diminished, and also D-I-M with a period would mean diminished. So we could have that little open circle and the number 7 is a fully diminished 7th chord, or you might see D-I-M 7 which could also mean fully diminished seventh. These are actually easier to play. This is a symmetrical chord because it fills out the octave, and the one shape can be used to play diminished chords, and I'll show you how that works. But just to first, the difference between the fully diminished seventh chord and the D diminished is that we're going to double flat the seventh. So normally, like an A7 chord, for example, has a flat 7, or a D7 chord is a major chord with a flatted seventh. But if you double flat it, it takes it down to what we call a diminished seventh, which is actually the same as the sixth in the scale. But if we add that pitch, so normally we've had our root, or our D, the D is here. If it was a major seventh, it'd be 1 fret below, and then a minor seventh or a flatted seventh would be 2 frets below that. And if we double flat it, we go down 1 more fret, which gives us the open string. And it's easier to play the fully diminished seventh chord. Just have to put our index finger on the first fret of the third string, and our middle finger on the first fret of the top string. And I will, a lot of times, when the chord symbol just says diminished, I'll a lot of times throw in the diminished seventh on it as well. I like the sound better personally, and it's usually easier to play on the guitar. So let's play this progression again using the fully diminished seventh. We'll practice just a little bit here, going back and forth between D and the fully diminished seventh chord, and then the D fully diminished. This progression using that one. So you got 1, 2, ready, and we got the D to the D fully diminished, D to D diminished seventh, D, G, A7, D diminished, and back to D. Let's do it again. D to the D fully diminished, to D, to the D fully diminished, to the D, to the G, A7, D, D fully diminished, and D. We'll end there. Now this is what's kind of cool about the fully diminished seventh chord. So if I show you up here, I can probably explain it a little bit better. But the way that these notes stack is in the interval of what we call a minor third, and it just happens over and over and over. But once you get to we got the 1, the flat 3, the diminished 5th, the diminished 7th, then that same interval or distance of a minor third takes us back to the root. And because of that, it just keeps repeating. It would repeat forever. And any note in the chord can actually be the root. So that means as long as the note is fingered here, it can work for that version, or diminished seventh chord on that. So in this case, we have an open D, so it works for D diminished. We also have a G sharp or an A flat. So this could work as an A flat or G sharp diminished seventh. We have the open B, so it could work as a B diminished seventh. And then we also have an F natural, so it could work as an F diminished seventh chord. So I'm going to take us up, and we're going to play E fully diminished. It's the same shape, but now we're not using the open strings. It's a little bit easier to see this shape. So I've got E fully diminished there. We're going to stick our index finger on the E, which is at the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, and pinky on the 3rd fret of the top string, and we have E diminished. Now, notes here, we have an E, so it can be an E diminished, which is how we're going to use it, but it also is an A sharp or a B flat, because that's what this pitch is. You got C sharp or D flat, and G, so it could work as a diminished chord for any of those. And because this shape is symmetrical, it works, no open strings, I can slide it around like I can the bar chord. So I could take it down, and I could have E flat diminished, or any of the notes that would be in there if I'm at the 1st fret, and I can slide up. So it's really easy to play diminished 7th chords. You can know this one shape and just put it in a position here, in first position, where the note that's being asked for, the root, is somewhere within that chord, and you'll be okay. We're going to use it with E diminished. So if we practice going back and forth between E to E diminished, so we got E progression. So we'll have E to E diminished seventh to E to E diminished seventh to E. Then in the same measure we'll have A, E7, and then E to E diminished 7 to the E. So same chord progression as above, but in a different key. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and you got E. To practice that with. I hope that helps. I hope you're having fun with the guitar. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about sus4 chords, which is a sound we run into from time to time. So we're going to see some of those, and we're going to do in the lesson after that. So in lesson 34, it'll be dominant 7th chords with the suspension. And then in lesson 35, sus2 chords. So that's a little bit of what to look forward to then there. And then after that, it'll be minor and major 6th chords and different types of 7th chords. So chords that we run into from time to time that are coloristic, show up in the music, just mostly occasionally around all the other chords we've worked on. Keep at it. I hope you're having a blast with guitar. Take care. I'll see you next time.
If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.